Hello and welcome to day 88 in this quest for a 2000 rapid rating on chess.com. So I haven't used this before, but I think I'm going to try and put in a rating range. So let's see how that works out. It'll be between 1627 and 1702. I'm at 1652 rated right now. So I guess it takes a bit longer to look for an opponent when you do this. And so it's still searching here. All right. So will we have the white pieces? We do, and we're playing a 1634. All right, so e4. Let's begin here. And the Sicilian defense. Okay. This may be the same game I played yesterday, I think. All right. Okay, well, I think I will knock out that. We've set up this Maroczy bind formation. All right, now that is interesting. Do we go after the queen there? Because it looks like we can just jump up there, go after the queen. That's an interesting choice there by my opponent. All right, well, first of all, we'll just castle. Get that out of the way. Then, now I see one thing good about that move is that it targets my c-pawn. All right. The c-pawn is targeted. Okay, now, what should we try next? Well, we could attack the queen and that knight at the same time. So let's try that. Okay, well, that drove their queen away. And now, do we leave that knight there? We could attack their rook and drive it back down into the a7 square, but no, well, we can't do that because of this knight. So let's go ahead and do this. Then we can jump this pawn forward as well. Oh, well, I guess we can't do that yet because, well, we could capture with our queen. No, the pawn is under attack, so we pretty much have to do that. The only problem now is that he could just play e5. Okay, he decides not to do that. All right, well, we might as well just push forward here with this pawn. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, now to take with the knight or not with the knight. All right, probably taking with the knight is better. Does our queen do anything by coming out there? No. So we'll just go ahead, take with the knight. And that helps guard this push of the B pawn. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. We probably don't want to go to f4 because they could push the pawn and fork us. So guess we develop there. All right, if we do that, let's see, if his knight captures our pawn, then we capture. All right, anyway, we're doing that. That is what we're going to do. Okay. Now, what would be best here? Well, maybe we should just bring our queen up, just develop our queen. Develop the queen. Do we push this F pawn maybe? Push the F pawn. All right, so now they have us thinking a little bit. All right. Do we just protect this pawn? Do we activate our rook by bringing it out here? Let's just develop like that. See what they play. All right. Okay. Well, do we fortify here? Now from here, he could threaten to just jump down to here. Do we give up our bishop? That is the question. Give up the bishop or not? All right, well, might as well just play that for now while we're just burning up way too much time here in these last few moves. All right, now do I just push this up and fortify this pawn? That is the next question. Push up and fortify. Don't want to push here. Let's see. Oh man, I'm just deciding whether I should take this knight or not. I don't know if that really does much for me, because then it just activates the bishop on this long diagonal here. Let's see. Well, we could just push this pawn here. No, let's try. We'll just do that. Just helps guard this pawn. Keeps the knight from moving forward to here. The only problem is if something would line up here, like if the bishop comes down here, I don't know, or they try and take advantage of this diagonal, but maybe I'm seeing ghosts there. All right, well, they're lined up on my queen. So, I don't know, there's not many places for that knight to go. All right. Do I push forward here? I don't know. He's got that rook lined up on my queen, which I don't like. All right. Do I knock this out? No. I think we'll keep our bishop. But I don't know if he pushes that. All right, we'll just go there. See what he does next. And I don't know, maybe I need to push my king into the corner so there aren't any surprises that pin this knight. Well, could drop back here with this bishop. Oh, that could be an idea. Try to drop the bishop back to e3, then move my queen over here, and threaten an attack on his queen. And then queen has to move, and then we pick off his rook. Maybe we'll try something like that. All right, so I think we'll do that. I think we'll drop our bishop back, then we'll try and move our queen over to here. Then we could even, well, does that work? If we sacrifice that, no. We'd probably have to, well, figure out where to move this knight. And at least they're thinking for a while now. All right. What will they do here? Okay, what are their options? I don't know. They could try and chase my bishop, but my bishop's going to retreat anyway. They could move their knight. Well, that wouldn't be the greatest move. They'd have to move back to the back rank. And then we could pick off their bishop, so they probably wouldn't do that. They don't want to push this pawn forward to e5 because then they'll create a backwards weak pawn and a hole here. That could be an idea as well. Drop this knight back, or, well, maybe if we drop it back here and reposition it up to here to keep an eye on the d5 square. But right now it's kind of guarding this pawn from pushing forward. Okay, so he forces me to make a decision. We probably don't want to sacrifice here, 2 pawns for the bishop, and our queen ends up here. Then what do? We don't really have much after that. So we'll go back to there. And then maybe try this threat of swinging our queen over here, then moving our knight and threatening b6 to attack the queen and pick off a rook. Okay, well, he moves away after that. So, what should we do? Well, probably. Now, what is he trying to do? If he wants to push forward there, maybe we have to move our knight out of the way. So if we go ahead and move that knight, from here he still threatens this push here of pushing that. We take, he takes. Okay, so that's probably why he went there. Now he can threaten to push here and maybe trade off material. So maybe we want to push forward here like that. And another thing I don't like is all my rooks on these dark squares here, where the bishop could, try and line up on me. That's not so good either. All right. Well, do we follow through with our plan next of pushing this knight and then repositioning? Do we want to go here or back to here? That is the question. And I don't know, maybe I should have left this pawn here because it would have been a nice strong chain that the queen is guarding. But at least this gains us some space on the queen side here. All right. What can we do next? I don't know. I'm thinking. Jump this knight back, then move it forward. Is he going to push forward though? If he pushes this forward, we capture, he captures. He did push it forward. Okay. Well, now I guess we are going to be in trading mode. Or do we chase his knight back? Maybe we chase his knight. Where does that knight go? Is that a possibility? All right, let's take a look at that. If we chase his knight, can the knight go forward? He could go to here. Or he could just go back here. So we have to watch out though. All right, if we capture and they capture and we capture, what if the queen comes down? We can't move our knight. All right, we're capturing that way anyway. All right, now we could leave him with this isolated pawn and chase his knight here. Do we want to do that? That could be a good possibility. That's a good spot for this knight here, or this knight in the center. All right. Do we push forward? That is the question. Push forward. All right, let's attack that knight. They're probably expecting us to go after that pawn in the center. Well, now at least our knight can stay there in the center, blockading his pawn. We chase his knight back. You know, his knight can't go here. All right, so now we can push forward. The only thing is our bishop kind of gets blocked in here. All right, so we'll go there, keeping the pieces out, you know, keeping this knight from being able to move forward here. One issue is, though, is if his bishop comes down here. Yeah, that could be a problem if his bishop comes down here, attacking our knight. All right, and do we want to trade these rooks off or not? That is the question as well. Oh man, and we got to watch our time. I guess I haven't been paying attention to the time. Once again, the time is not looking too good. Okay, if the bishop lands here, attacking our knight, what do we do then? What do we do then? Of course it lands there. Okay. Well, we should move this knight. Well, or we just attack that bishop. But then this pawn could be picked off after he trades off the knight. Okay. Well, do we jump our knight back to here? Now, then if that pawn is pushed forward, then what do we do? All right, well, what do we got here? What do we got going on? All right. Man, we got to be careful here. Let's just do that. Now we're really getting low on time. All right, bishop or queen, bishop or queen. Usually you want to centralize the queen. Let's do that. Probably should have brought the bishop up there, but at least now we're keeping an eye on both of these pawn pushes. And we're keeping an eye on the diagonal as well. All right, but I'm not a fan of this bishop just blocked in. It's kind of a bad bishop blocked in by its own pawns. He can still push forward if we capture. Okay, so he decides to do that. At least that gives me the open file here, but he'll probably just bring the other rook over. Oh, but if he does that, we could push our queen up. So that could be a good option as well. Okay. He decides to go there. Where is that knight going? He wants to jump forward. Okay, if he jumps there, what do we do? What do we do? Man. All right, we'll go there. All right. Okay, that pawn might start pushing forward. So, guess we're going there. And now what? Now what should he do? If he pushes forward, we could just swing our rook over here. Then if he captures, we capture his queen. So he won't want to do that. We can pin. I guess the next thing to do would be to bring this pawn up here. Then try and bring our bishop in here to block that knight out. We could go into a tough endgame here again. All right, so I need to push this pawn up to g3. Man, I'm low on time again. Got to watch that. So pawn to g3. Seems to be a decent move. Pawn to g3. That does kind of open up this area around our king, which could cause problems. All right, but if he pushes this pawn, what do? We bring our rook here. That way he can't capture the bishop. All right, what does that do? If he pushes the pawn, and then we move our rook here to d2. Does that work? Okay, he pushes the pawn. Right, I guess we're going there. Now this pawn is going to be a problem, so I don't know. This game, I'll have to look in the game review. Maybe I should have traded off in the center here. Now we have this passed pawn that's moving up the board. All right, now what's his best move? To just move his queen out of the way. Where would he want to move this queen? Oh, okay, he didn't do that. So we go there. Then we can move our bishop. All right, now he's targeting that. So we need to go here and then drop back with our bishop. All right, so drop back with the bishop. Where is this knight going? If the knight goes here, if that knight moves, then we can attack the queen. So in the meantime, we want to drop our bishop back to f2. All right, so we'll go ahead and do that. And then what? Do we attack the queen here? All right. Well, now he's threatening to come over to there. What do we do? We'll push forward like that. All right. Then we'll go there. All righty. Guess we got to do that. All right. And now, what do we do here? What do we do? We want to try and block. If we do that, uh-oh, can our king, can we get over there in time? Can we get over there in time? Nope, I guess it didn't work. The time trouble got me. The time trouble got me. Time trouble got me there. Do I push this pawn now? Do I push that forward? Or do I push this one? Okay. If I push here, he captures. And I capture, he can jump back in front of it. So we'll do that. All right, now, do I push this forward? Not giving him any place to go. All right, well, I'm hanging on for my life here. Could be a draw now. Well, I don't know. I better not speak too soon. I better not speak too soon. All right, what will we do? Probably push this pawn, maybe? Then if I capture, he captures. I have to run down here. All right. Oh, wait. What the heck? It's my turn the whole time here? Oh my gosh. I need to watch that clock. All right, we'll go there. All right, what will he do next? What will he do next? All right. What will we try? Push this H pawn, then wait for me to move, then push this. All right, so I have to watch out because it's a little tricky here, maybe. If he pushes the H pawn, okay, he decides to do that. Let's just go to there. All right, what will they do here? Man, sorry, this is just turning into a marathon. I'm trying to hold on here. If I go here, now what do they do? They're not making the attempt at a draw easy, that's for sure. All right, what now? What now? If I go here, they could go there. If I go here, oh, they can go forward, so. Are they, man. All right, we got to go there. Really? Might end up losing this. Come on. Well, I've one square to go to, which is there. All right, if they push the G pawn, then I'm kind of in trouble here. All right, I think I'm lost, but I guess we'll play to the end for the instructional value of it. All right, what do I do? Do I back up here? Um, do I take the pawn? No, then he moves there and escorts it forward. So I got to go there. These kind of games are really hard to lose. I hate losing these kind of games where they're real close like this. They just go on. Here, this is an 80 some move game that you end up losing. Maybe we'll get lucky and there'll be a draw, but that's not likely. Or, yeah, a stalemate. But all he has to do is move his king up here. And see, now I can only move forward, then he mates me. All right. I hate losing games like that. All right, well, you can't win every game. And let's see here. We dropped back down under 1650. I forget what I was before this game. So we played at 79.3 versus their 85.2. Oh, man. It looks like they must have had an advantage for a long time in that game. Then it was even. So we did have a possibility to draw. So whatever I did, I messed up right at the end. There was a chance of a draw, really? All right, well, I had 5 great moves. They had 7. We both had 5 inaccuracies. I had 3 mistakes. They had 5. I had 4 misses, and they had 1. That was a hard-fought game that your opponent won with some strong endgame play. Man, it looks like it was a draw there at the end, so I must have messed up like at the very end there. All right, let's see what's going on here. Okay. The Sicilian defense, we set up this Maroczy bind with c4 and e4, helping control the d5 square, but I guess we didn't follow it up very well. All right, so it's zipping through these moves. We kind of go into the end game. So this was good to capture towards the center there. And then it did like that pawn push in the middle, but this was not good. So this is where we started to go downhill. What was best here? Dropping the queen back. Okay, which just protects this pawn. Okay. And it didn't like this move either. This was a horrible move as well. Oh, man. I guess with 20 seconds on the clock, we started making mistakes and time trouble again. Okay. Queen to d3 would have been best. Okay. It didn't like that move. Better would have been... Pushing, attacking the knight and this pawn. At least that would break open the king side. possibly, or if the knight moved, you could just pick this off. That would have kept the game even. Alright, so, man, then black was actually, looks like they were winning here, you know, or at least ahead pretty good. Okay. King to c7 was best. Oh, man, what did I end up doing there? I moved that when I should have gone up here. Alright, well, I have to work on these end games. Okay, now the game is even. But I guess I just did not play this correctly. Man, that's so frustrating. Okay, so the game is still even here. We should be able to hold a draw. Okay, so we're doing good so far. Still good. Where did we make a mistake here? That is a mistake. So, should we, yeah, kept the opposition there. I was worried though, if they capture, I capture, and then that pawn starts coming down. I didn't want to get too far away. Okay, I was lost once I gave up the opposition. Okay, so let's look at that one more time because that's very instructive. So that was the game-losing move, letting the king, well, we went here, and then they go here, pushing forward. All right, well, we'll have to look at that in the analysis. Let's look at this actual position right here. Yeah, here it's lost. So the move that we had to make instead of that is this move right here. King to d3. Keeping the opposition, which is important. All right, so back to the beginning. We'll try and just go through this quick. e4, c5, Sicilian defense. We bring the knight out to help be able to push this pawn forward at some point, kind of guard the center. They play d6 to keep this pawn from pushing forward if they want to bring their knight out. That way we can't just push forward and chase their knight, or they would capture that pawn. So bishop to b5 here, check. So now they block. Looks like the best thing to do is play c4 or to capture immediately. So we play c4, setting up this Maroczy bind. Now, let's see. They attack, so the best thing is to capture. Knight captures, and now, interesting choice here. They want b3 immediately. b3. Okay. I think we castled. No, we played knight to c3, which is tied for second best. Okay, the computer wants castling now. So they preferred this knight development, but by going here, they just developed their queen, and let's see. We castle. Knight to f6, which they like. The computer likes that. So now, knight to d5. Was that the best move? Here it says that is the best move. But once I played it, now the computer said it would have been better to play d4. All right. Well, we chase. Now, knight takes f6 check is the third best move. but rook to e1 would have been better. And I was wondering about leaving that knight there because if they captured, we could capture this way, gain space in the middle, maybe open this up towards the king. All right, so we capture, they capture, and now computer likes d3, rook to b1, d4. We played rook to e1. All right, now see, that's probably why we should have played. Oh, well, we wanted to protect this pawn. That's interesting. So they said we could have played e5 and attacked the knight. Yeah, I guess that would be an interesting move as well. All right, so we push forward, they capture. We capture, said it would have been better to immediately attack the knight. And now they develop, we attack the knight, which, I don't know, what is that bishop doing there? I should have just gone ahead and captured maybe. So we're just kind of maneuvering around. Now the game says it's about even. They start lining up here. Would have been better to centralize our queen. All right. So now we retreat back, guarding this diagonal from any surprise checks by the queen in the future. They swing over. Looks like the computer actually liked this move, moving the queen back there. All right, so a4 is played. What did it say about that move? Looks like that's the second best move in this position. a4, queen. Okay, so d5. The best thing to do here, and the only move that keeps white with somewhat of an edge, is to capture towards the center. Then, of course, they capture with the pawn. And now we should either play e5 or capture here. So we played e5. Computer says that that is best, kicking the knight away. So knight to h7 was the best response. Now f4 looks like that is best, although now the computer wants a trade here. All right. They attack. Yeah, that might have been better. All right. Yeah, rook takes c1. Oh, well, they're saying rook takes c1. But here, we should have captured. And then we could swing our other rook over. All right, so we have this. What is best here? Rook to f1 or rook at c to d1. So we went that way instead. They actually wanted this rook over here. All right, capture. Queen takes d4 was best. Capture, capture, and now knight to f8. So computer says that that is the best move, knight to f8. Let's see here. Now, rook to d1, no. Well, that's what we should have played, is rook to d1. So this is where we start having problems. We should have gone here, keeping an eye on this pawn. And then knight to g6 here is what they recommend. All right, so if they played that, eyeing this pawn, then what? Queen to d3. So maybe we drop back and then we can Well, we can't push that bishop up there yet because of this. But queen to d3 does keep an eye on this pawn push of b5. Excuse me. All right, but then we have queen to c7. And what would happen next? Oh, they actually wanted this pawn to be pushed immediately. Just start moving it up the board like what happened in the game. All right, back to the game. We make this mistake. That allows them, well, they played that. Computer says that's an inaccuracy and the game is about even now. So queen to f5 would have been better. Queen to f5. What does that do? Maybe helps to get ready to push here. Well, I don't know if they'd want to do that, open their king side up. Here it says I should play rook to f2 and just line up on the queen here. Or rook to d2. Just aim for this pawn. All right. Well, let's see. If they played queen to f5, what does it say? I don't know if I like that. I mean, I would probably do this. Now it says that would be an inaccuracy, that instead we should just do that immediately. All right, well, then, knight to e6, like what happened in the game. So rook to c2, they bring their knight up, attacking my queen. What is best here? Queen to d3. So I made a mistake by going, queen all the way down to d1, which was not so good. Queen to d3 would have been better. Then, of course, they should push that pawn and attack my bishop. Then bishop to d2. All right, that's not bad because we have our rook controlling this open file. The queen is somewhat centralized, helping block this pawn, and then the bishop is kind of blocking it as well, keeping an eye on this pawn also. Here, rook to c8 would be best, and we should go ahead and capture, it looks like. Then, of course, the queen would capture. And now we have different options, one of them being b4 to keep this knight out from being able to harass our queen. Then queen to d7 or g6. Now it's saying we should have just chased that knight, but I don't know. Now they like g6. All right. Back to our mistakes in the game. We had rook to c2, which was a mistake. Now the knight jumps up attacking our queen, and we make a mistake on where we put this queen. And at this point, oh man, it's saying that black is almost winning here, according to this. Here it says if we play d4, it's just a 1.39 edge by black. So what did we play? Or sorry, if they play d4, which is what they played, and the computer says that's a great move. Now what? Rook to d2 is best, and we found that move. Queen should have moved over to c8, but instead this was played, a mistake. So queen to g7, or c7, sorry, is best. Then we should retreat back to f2, and then, oh yeah, then he picks this knight, or picks off this pawn. Then what do? Well, we get rid of that one. Queen, to c6? They want that now. Oh, threatening a possible mate here. Well, threatening to capture this bishop. Then if we capture, there's a mate threat here. So, queen, what, to f1 to guard that. And then knight takes g2. Knight takes g2. Man, it's saying that would be a brilliant move. Yeah, they grab that pawn because if our queen captures, they could just trade off. Well, no, hold on. Why is this so good? Now, it says the best thing to do is queen to c4. I mean, why can't we capture this? You know, why don't we capture this with the queen? What happens then? Well, then you have queen. Yeah, then, oh, that's terrible. So that would be a blunder. You have to watch out for these checks because we would have to block now. And then they can pick off the rook. Yeah, they'd pick that off. And then the bishop's under attack. We would have to drop back to f2. Yeah, that would be a nightmare. So in the game, they played g6. And it looks like f5 would have been a good move here because we would attack the knight and we're threatening to attack here. So what did we play? g3, which was a miss. We should have gone there. The best thing to do would be to capture. And then, rook to d3, which lets the rook swing over and check, possibly. So, rook to d3 is the only move to keep the game about even. Now it's showing white would have a slight edge here. f4 attacking our bishop and also guarding this g3 square so the rook can't swing over and check. But you have this. Queen to g4. Oh. King over to f8. And now you can pick off this pawn. Knight captures. And queen captures. And now queen to e6 going after this pawn. Well, now they want this move. But anyway, this shows the game would be about even. So we overlook that opportunity, just played g3 here, protecting the pawn. And now what? f5 is the best move. Well, we already looked at that. Okay, let's get moving here. Queen to d5, centralizing the queen, which is usually a good idea unless that queen could be attacked, but it's pretty safe here. Now we played rook to d3, which was an inaccuracy. h4 would have been better. All right. h4. That's pretty interesting. Okay, then, you know, what happens after that? They have different options. They could push the g-pawn, queen up to e4, which threatens to capture the bishop, and then we'd have to drop the bishop back to f2. What else do we have? Okay, after g3, queen to d5, we make this inaccuracy with our rook. The queen moves up here. We have to drop back, although now the computer says we should have gone back that way. The rook takes the open file, but the computer says that's a mistake, that rook to d5 would have been a better move. Rook to d5. Okay, well, maybe that allows this push of the b pawn to b5. Here we should drop our rook back to d2. Okay, back to the game. Rook went to c8, and we just play this move, which is not so good. Queen to f3 would have been better. Man. I briefly looked at this move, but I thought it would let the rook come down and get in behind my position, but maybe that wasn't so bad if that would happen. Yep, and that's the move they want, is rook to c1. So then king up to g2. If they capture my queen, the game's even, but they want f5. Huh. Then h4 appears to be best. Well, now they're saying b4. All right, well, back to the game. Rook to c8. We played b4. They line up on my pawns. So that's an inaccuracy. They should have immediately went rook to c3 here. Yeah, attacking here immediately. And then what do? We drop back rook to d2. And then they just keep pushing that pawn forward. All right, so they attack these pawns. We push forward, and that's an inaccuracy. Looks like, what did they recommend? Queen to f3. Queen to f3. But then, I don't know if I like that. They could just capture, or rook's forced to capture. Then the rook just starts picking off these pawns. So capture, rook over to a3 to protect the pawn. Although now it likes a5 better. So, man. All right, in the game, we push forward, they capture, we capture, which is best, of course. Rook to c3, so now they play this move. And what do we do here? We should not have traded off rooks, which we did. We should have gone rook to d2. They would just keep pushing this pawn. Then bishop, excuse me, up to a7, no. Queen to e1. Queen to d5, avoiding the queen trade, getting behind the passed pawn. Oh, although they actually like this other move better, to here. Now you're attacking this pawn, and you're threatening a, well, attack on the queen, but you could block, I guess. So queen to e3 would be best here. Queen up to d5 is, but anyway, let's go back to the game. We trade off, and now queen to e1, which was a mistake. Oh no, it's saying, well, up there it said that was the best move, but now it's saying queen to a1 would have been better. But we did this, they capture, and that is an inaccuracy. Queen to c4, getting behind the passed pawn would have been better. So we capture, they start pushing that pawn, bishop to d2, and here the knight comes into play. Looks like they wanted knight to c5 instead. So we try to get our king over into the action. Looks like it would have been better to go to f2. And then we have that. So the king comes up. Queen, we have to give up our bishop. So now they're winning. It looks like it would have been better to attack that knight, because then the only place he could go is here. All right. Anyway, we move up here. Oh, it didn't like that. It said we should have gone here immediately. But, oh, it didn't like that. So I'm trying to get my king moving. So let's take a look at these other moves. So instead of moving my king, they want me to push this pawn. Okay, if I do that, I don't know, that gives him time to just move his king over here. So in the game, after I play that and they play b6, looks like it would have been better to jump the knight up here with check, but then we would go and attack the knight, and then what? Knight up to e6, helping block this pawn, and then, man, it recommends g4, just giving up the pawn. I don't like that. I would probably just do this. King comes out. Then what? Now it's saying g4 again. You know, we would probably play something like this. And yeah, so I don't know. That keeps black winning at this point. All right, so in the game we had b6. We push our king up, attacking the knight. The knight moves up here and is defended, but it looks like it would have been better, which I thought he was going to do, is ignore that. What did it say? It's better to do that. Check. You know, and then we would probably do that, and the king would start coming over here to stop us. Here it says e6 would be the best move. All right. Well, let's finish this up. In the game, we had c5, or the knight moved up to c5. Our king jumps forward, as does their king. Now, it didn't like that. It said we should have gone up here instead, so which would keep the king out of coming down to here. And then what? h5. It recommends that move. Oh, now it doesn't like that. Now it's saying king to e8 would have been better. Then king up to c7. Then knight to d7, protecting the pawn. And then here, king over to c6, king to d8, and h3. All right, well, that would have been better than what we ended up with, which was protection there. Now, they wanted us to move that way. So that was a move that the computer liked. Okay, it didn't like that. h5 would have been better. So h5, then we should play h3. They could capture, but now it's saying h4, just pushing forward would be better. Then we should play king to c6 and g5. King to c6, king to d8, king to d6. Although it wanted us, okay, back to the game. Let's get moving here. g5. Then we push up to h3. That is a miss. Instead, what did it say we should do instead of that? King up to c7 would have been better. And now, the only move that keeps black with the edge is that. Although now it's saying king to f8 would have been better. Here we can play f6, taking this square away from the king, and then, well, anything they do loses material. No, unless the king moves over to f8. So if the king moves to f8, what should we do? King to b7 or c6? Something like that. All right. In the game, we had h3. The king moved over here. And then we grab the opposition and maybe get ready to push this pawn. So the knight attacks. The best thing is to guard this pawn. Then we just see if he'll repeat the position, which he doesn't. He goes there. That is a mistake. Knight to c5 would have been better. And then king over to c6. Then knight up to d7 to protect this pawn. All right. Well, in the game after king to e8, we miss our opportunity. Maybe we should have pushed the e pawn. No, they actually want this move. And then king to d8, d6. Now it's saying the f pawn. All right, the computer seems to just get confused in these end games. So f6 was played here, a missed opportunity. Knight to c3, they follow up with a miss. They should have played down to b2 instead. King moves over. Knight captures here, a mistake. So knight to a4 would have been better. And then let's see here. King to c7 up here is best. What did we play? All right, let me go back. So in the game, they did that. What they should have played was this, and then we should play king up to c7, and then knight, down to b2? They would probably just play that. So if they played that, then what? King over to b7, really? I mean, I don't know. That's kind of tricky. It looks like it would just go back and forth. All right, so they give up their knight. We capture. So now the game is more even, so that's good. They play king to d7, which is best. We capture, of course. Then they go after that pawn. And king to c5 is best. Capture. We go down. Oh, they wanted us to actually go up the other way. Man, I don't know. That I didn't think I could do that, but it actually likes that. Here they would just pick that off. Then what? Then you go back down to here. Oh, that keeps the king away. King up to e7 or g7. So if they did that, King to e4 or e5. We'd probably try that. They'd go f6. We'd go king to f5. They would have to protect. Then what? King to e4. They'd probably go this way. And then what? King to d4, d3, or f3 to try and keep the opposition. Okay, so in the game, we had this series of moves, until we made our mistake, which was here. That is the game losing mistake right there. We should have played king to d3, and then what do they do? Well, what if he did that? Then what should we do? We should play king to e4, but then they would push, we capture, and we'd get over, and it would be a draw. Man, so that was the game-losing mistake. When we moved back this way, we should have kept the opposition with the one square in between the kings. All right, well, I'm going to end this, and please like and subscribe for those that haven't already. Feel free to leave comments with suggestions, questions, any requests for future chess videos you'd like to see. And thank you for watching, and have a super chess day.